How's it? I'm Christo. Welcome to Diamond Cornerstone. Yeah, this is a cornerstone to our new earth, and we've got to lay it. And each of us is that cornerstone. Each of us is a diamond, and yeah, aspire. Classic YouTube drill: like, subscribe, share, and yeah, today we're going to go and do a little bit of a Star Trek or comparative study. Now, comparative study is usually we take two things that are the same and we see what's the same and what's different, and that's comparative research. But now the thing that you'll hear me talk about a lot is how do we think. And yeah, currently I'm sitting at the start of a really big project where they're trying to synchronize different curriculums and training methodologies into a single system. Now this is what I do. So all I ever see is diamonds. And if you actually look at our current way of thinking, and this is globally, it's linear. We're trapped in time, so we think in a line. The problem is with linear thinking is it's random. We think that politics doesn't always affect economics, doesn't affect social, doesn't affect our physical environment, and this analysis or separation has actually stuffed us up. Now we've been doing this for long, and the distraction of living has actually made this bigger because of the rate of or pace of life between family, friends, work, transport or movement, closing times, opening times. In South Africa, we've got what is called load shedding. It's when the electricity goes down, so you got to get X amount done before the power is cut for a 2 to 4 hour stint. So everything is all about how to push the numbers, how to confuse the people. And that keeps us in this linear model. And yeah, you heard it's separate, and somehow it's all random. And a lot of it is we're drilled with the Darwinian theory of competition and conflict, that we're in competition with our neighbors. Actually, we're not. They live peacefully next door, and I live peacefully this side, and there's no competition. But if he needs a cup of flour, he can come and ask me. And if I need, let's say, dishwashing liquid, I go and ask him. It's mutual aid. We're not in competition. We're not in conflict. There are disagreements, but you can usually go over and say to the guy, hey, listen, hey, this isn't so cool. And if he doesn't listen, and you say, hey, these are the rules of our society, then and I bought this property with these rules of the society. It's like, okay, I live in a beautiful place. It's called Hookville. And Hookville is in the wilderness. Literally. I'm a voice from the wilderness. And my previous neighbor across the road, he put up hydroponic tunnels. Now, hydroponic tunnels is a great invention. It produces a lot of vegetables in a very small area using minimal water. So it's a fantastic way to grow, let's say, cucumbers or tomatoes or something in that line. The only problem is he erected this whole tunnel system. Now it's massive. It was, I think, 30 by 10, so it was like 300 times 3, 900 square meters of tunnel. White tunnels in the view of his neighbor. Because his neighbor on the other side looks down, and it's a beautiful valley that goes down towards the sea. And suddenly he's got this white monstrosity, and his view is gone. So he went to the neighbor and he said, look, dude, you can't just put up tunnels in this town. And the guy said, no, this is agricultural land. He can do what he wants. It's his land. So the neighbor looked at him and said, hey, I don't think so. So he phoned the municipality and said, hey, what are the bylaws regarding this area? And the councillor actually came out and she sat down and he said, okay, we've got this issue. My land's just lost value because we've lost view. Now, all the properties in Hookville have a view. and it's picturesque. It's absolutely beautiful, and every angle is a picture. It's a little town in an indigenous forest. Uh, Through the whole escapade with the tunnels, we found out that this is actually a World Heritage Site, natural heritage site, and you can't even dig a hole without permission because of ecosystems and. But it's phenomenal where we live. But the thing is, the neighbor was thinking linearly, self-centered when he put up the tunnels because he wanted basically the land must pay for itself, which is a good philosophy. But then you can do something like an Airbnb or grow fruits and vegetables that don't affect your neighbor and his view, because we are in cooperation and mutual aid. So yeah, that neighbor phoned me and he asked me, hey, can I write a report regarding hydroponics, because I'd just written the course and all the negatives of it. And the irony is, hydroponics are great, but the thing is, when the water goes out at the bottom, it's usually laced with chemicals and fertilizers and all sorts of stuff, and then it goes into it's not allowed to be released into a natural environment. It's got to be put onto a field, aka a field where they've already done agriculture. Because the thing is, into a natural environment, it's wrecking the natural ecosystems. Whereas on a field, the natural ecosystems have already been adjusted because of previous planting, growing, harvesting, which makes absolute logical sense. And the thing is, it's super enriched water. So if you were to plant, let's say, maize or corn or what else is there? Beans in super enriched soil with super enriched water, it's going to actually take it all up again. All right. So the big thing is, in comparison, is you got to think in cycles as opposed to linear thinking. The whole of nature works in cycles. It's phenomenal. Circulation is a cycle, digestion is a cycle, evaporation, the water cycle, food production is a cycle, building a house is a cycle. It's lots of little cycles, but at the end of the day, you've got a house built. Clothing manufacturing is a cycle. It's lots of little cycles, from production of the raw material all the way through to transport but the supply chain is a cycle. So we've got to start thinking in these systems, in these cycles. And then we've got to see their interaction. We're integrated. Unless you're living on an island, that's not possible. There are 8 billion of us, so the chances of us finding an island or just your property and being fully self-sufficient, it's zero. We're social animals as well, so we like having our interactions. Then we've got to think systematically. And last but not least, we are in cooperation and mutual aid. If I win, my neighbor wins. If he wins, I win. If he has a better house, then he actually jacks the value of all the properties in the area. And that's just how it is. And the thing is, because his quality of life goes up, mine has to match. We're actually all in a major movement of aspiration because we're all helping each other up. The whole idea of top-down structures as we know them and pushing people down and the competition thing of I've got to strive, I believe that time is over. Because as we strive, we know people are falling behind. People are lagging. Go and look, there's this funky picture of the wolf pack that's moving along. And you'll actually see this, the alpha wolf walks at the back to make sure that the stragglers are there. And the one in the front, they're the young ones. And in between are the older wolves. And they all make their way, but when they get to the other side, they're all together still. And maybe we can learn something from the scenario that we are of nature, that we are actually also just a pack, a herd, a group, a humanity. a humanity that is beautiful, that is at the point now where we can actually change how we think, to get back to cycles, to get systems, to get processes, to integrate. Because through cooperation and mutual aid, we actually rise together. We aspire together. And I think that's something beautiful. That's something to work towards. And when we're aspiring, we can do it in everything from agriculture to construction, heat, clothing, energy, uh, what do we drink. It's a whole human experience. And from there, we'll have the basics met. And now we're going up Maslow and his self appreciation and love and joy and sharing and being real. And it's in everything we're doing, from cup of coffee, planting a field, uh, asset management. I'm busy in negotiations with a company that do asset management. So they basically look after properties, security, plumbing, and make sure that the asset doesn't lose value while the asset's being used for something else, like a shopping mall or a warehouse complex or something like that. But they're looking after people's assets and they're managing them for them. But even there's an integration, because there's got to be an engineering side and there's got to be a mining side and there's going to be an agricultural side in the larger group. And these little companies all serve the larger vision of the group itself. And it's vision based. And from the vision comes the exchange. And the exchange happens within the walls, and then some things are outsourced and insourced. And the context is wherever the head offices are for all the micro companies. And the social is what, well, the guys get to know each other because they're working together for a bigger vision. Something kind of wow. So yeah, aspire. You are the diamond. They're the cornerstone. Welcome to our new earth.